Okay, let's pick up where we left off. They were discussing the fact that more than likely, Gina is the culprit behind all this, all the bombings and everything, or at the very least, the brain scans. Meanwhile, Gina took the opportunity of agents being all over the city to scan them from a distance without being detected. With this theory, aren't we also linking the triad to the Esper experiments rather than the Sierra dissidents? That's right. But the suspicious Espers they caught were all working on the side of the dissidents with the rebellion. They could have been plans. People put there by New Albion to attract our attention so we'd step into the conflict on the side of the triad. It's a hell of a setup, but it makes sense in a lot of ways. The triad can't afford to lose Sierra. They lose their minds, not to mention their damn illegal research facilities. But they know we wouldn't get involved unless we have to. And they wanted to make sure we'd get involved on their side. But we were treading cautiously and moving too slowly for their taste, so they staged an attack on Brasil, making it look like it was a move by the Sierra dissidents or their supporters. I can't believe the Triad would do something so underhanded. When you think about it, it would have been hard for some disorganized rebellion or any group of civilian supporters to arrange such a large-scale attack on Brasil of all places. But the Triad has people in Brasil to monitor Endgame. It wouldn't have been easy for them either. They are more equipped to do it than anyone else. If that's the case, then this research trip aligning with the Sierra conflict was just a coincidence. Most likely. We believe New Albion really is engaging in illegal Esper research, but probably on the surface. The Sierra lab is just a cover for that. Based on what we've learned from Matt and Trent, we believe the information from the lab was being relayed to another facility here in Arcalis, where the real research is going on. That's what Magnus is looking into right now. Sierra is the perfect place to get a larger pool of Esper test subjects, which the Triad would need access to. They use the guise of legal research to get at it, and we think most of the researchers didn't have any idea what their information was being used for. And if the research ever came to light, they were probably hoping they could cover their tracks and pin it on the colonists. They've clearly developed some sort of prototype serum that can somewhat achieve the effect they wanted and have been using the dissidents, desperate for a win, to test it out. The added benefit is they can frame the dissidents for the whole thing, undermining the colony's bid for independence. So, question. So the Triad is using the dissidents to experiment and see whether or not whatever they're producing is having the intended effect. Do the dissidents know that this is the Triad? Because I thought the dissidents were trying to gain independence from the Triad. So, why would they trust them to inject them with an illegal substance for their research? But the serum doesn't appear to be perfect since it induces rapid burnout. Gina's goal probably was to get information on more powerful F-class psi waves so they can try to refine the serum's effects. I imagine that after her hack of our system failed, she decided to use the aftermath of the bombing as an opportunity to get the information firsthand. Okay, so the bombing and the brain scans are two completely separate sort of things. They weren't all done by the same person. They were done by two different factions. But right now, this is still all just a theory, right? Well, as of this morning, Trent has also disappeared. What? I was on my feet before I even realized it. How the hell did that happen? You can't tell me there weren't guarded stations outside their rooms. Oh, there were. Whoa, wait. She stopped spinning and stared up at Mara, a look of disbelief on her face. Then how'd he get out? His guard is also missing, so we're assuming he had some inside help. They're running through the rosters right now to figure out if anyone else is unaccounted for. Magnus would do it, but he's looking into the labs, monitoring comms, and all entry points to the city. Are you bloody kidding me? They had people inside Endgame? It's been a concern for a while now. I couldn't even begin to take all this in. Trent had really been working with Gina the whole time. But do we know that he's working with Gina? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I skipped past all this in my first playthrough. Because I just wanted the romance. So I don't know. Because, I mean, why would he come back to get aid if he was involved in all this? Well, Gina was, missing. Like, why wouldn't he have just gone wherever she disappeared to? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that they're working together now. I just couldn't believe it. Where did Trent go? If all this was true, I just wanted us to find him, bring him back, and figure out what the hell he was thinking. I might have no connection to him anymore, beyond that he was someone I once cared for, but I still felt responsible to stop him from making some kind of horrible mistake. You can't do that to yourself, girl. Like, he's a grown-ass man. You have to let him make his own decisions. And, I mean, you can definitely stop him from doing bad things, but you can't make it your personal responsibility. Though I might already be too late for that. We're not sure. We found a handwritten note with a rendezvous location on it. We were already hours too late by the time we found it, though. Okay, now it's looking like he's a lot more guilty. The note was vague, and we aren't really sure if Trent was working with Gina, or if she wants something else from him. Matt doesn't seem to know anything about any of this. Oh, so Matt didn't disappear, he's still here? Which makes sense given his history. A handwritten note. I suppose if they were afraid Magnus was monitoring communications, that would be the best option. But one thing that was bothering me was Trent's repeated suggestion for me to go to Citadel with him. It all hinged on Citadel dissidents winning the conflict and making a haven for espers there. And he was supporting the Triad the whole time after all. I can't believe the Triad would stage this kind of attack of Bracel, or be involved in illegal research. I mean, I can definitely believe that they would be involved in illegal research. And, I don't know, governments, the stuff that they've been caught doing, sometimes to their own people, in the name of, progress and the greater good it can be kind of terrifying. Morgan, every political power on this planet is involved in that kind of research. It's been like that since the first Esper showed up. Shit though, Ari, that doesn't make it right. Just because everybody else does it too, doesn't mean it's okay. Research into replicating powers or creating espers has been outlawed for centuries, but the laws only stop it from going on in the open. And the whole fairy phenomenon has opened a lot of doors. I wonder if the whole fairy phenomenon came about as a result of this illegal research that they're doing, because that wasn't always a thing, so that makes me really curious. And now they have Ari's scans, mine. Partially. Sasaki thinks they only got an incomplete scan of you. Your side disruption wasn't as bad as the others, so he thinks maybe you were out of range or got out of range before the scan was complete. That's good news, at least. Handing over Morgan's psi fingerprint seems like a hell of a bad idea. Just, how can they do this? I mean, people died in those explosions. Our people, Morgan, not theirs. That shouldn't matter. See, yes, Morgan, I am with you here. Hey, we agree with you, but we've tangled with the Triad before. The big issue now is, where are Trent and this Gina lady? Actually, no, I think the bigger issue is the Triad. Trent and Gina are important, but it's like treating the symptoms versus treating the cause, right? We can rescue Trent and Gina, but really, whatever is going on with the Triad, if they just feel like they can do all this and be hurting people, that's not gonna, us saving Trent and Gina isn't gonna keep them from hurting people in the future. And what's our next move? They're trying to get out of the city, no doubt, with the stolen scans in hand. That will be difficult for them. You said Magnus is monitoring the city exits. The Legions... What's the Legion? The Legion is a highly specialized and trained group of knights operating with an endgame. They are defense-focused knights with a specialty in creating powerful sized shields. When Bracel goes on lockdown, they are stationed at critical junctions and use their abilities collectively to create and interlace shields that can keep people from entering and leaving. They are capable of encasing the entire city in several layers of psychic energy to provide a nearly impenetrable level of defense. That's pretty badass. The Legion's been active since yesterday, but there are a few cracks in their defense, as you all know. But between them and Maggie, I doubt anyone's going to just waltz out of the city. But you said there are cracks in their defenses. That's why Magnus is also watching the exit points, and keeping a close watch on all communications in the city. So that's why they resorted to the handwritten note. I thought that too. And they found a delivery boy that was supposed to be working for us to get it in. We got a name on that bastard yet? Because I'd love to have a little chat with him. I'm sure you would, Caleb. We have his name, don't worry. Still, it was careless to leave the note where we could find it. Trent's a lousy criminal. That's why I'm like, I don't really think Trent is involved in this. I don't think he has the level of cunning required to pull something like this off. Like, if anything, it seems like he's more so a pawn in all this than an active contributing participant. So what do we do now? Our bishops have been searching for Gina since yesterday, but everyone's wary of another attack. Plus, there's a situation on Sierra that still needs monitoring. They tried to get a psychometric reading on the note and the rendezvous point to see if there were any clues about where they're heading. I can't remember if we've gone over this or not. I don't think we have, so we'll just read it. Generally considered a sub-skill of post-cognition, in psychometry, one reads the past of an object, location, or very rarely a person, in order to obtain information about it. Psychometry can include general impressions and feelings, but also distinct visions about the past. Generally, psychometric abilities are used in criminal investigations, and it is one of the most requested abilities from Endgame by other law enforcement. There are entire teams of psychometric specialists who are able to pick up whatever faint threads of information are left behind in locations to read them. Unfortunately, utilizing psychometry to find useful information isn't an exact science, making it tricky to consistently use psychometry to achieve a specific end or find specific knowledge. The only place open to them is the underground. Okay, the area known to many as the underground consists of the catacombs and tunnels that lead directly to the underground Aryan ruins that wind beneath much of the planet. Though the ruins themselves are often referred to separately as the ruins or the labyrinth, which is the name of this chapter, the underground is a term used to sometimes refer to the ruins and catacombs collectively. It's unclear who created the catacombs, as their structure differs somewhat from the ruins themselves. They also lack the distinct Aryan symbols and circuitry to make the ruins so dangerous to explore. For this reason, some people believe the catacombs were built later by the Tholossans to access the ruins. Okay. The Aryan ruins are a vast network of tunnels and structures that delve deep into the planet. They run below many of the cities, and though the dayside ruins are often sealed and blocked off, it's fairly easy to access them on the night side. Aryan structures are at least partially technology, and usually have extensive circuitry running through them. They react to psi energy and are known to activate if an Esper uses psi in them. Oh, wow. They can restructure themselves, seal themselves off, or otherwise become hostile to invaders if one isn't careful. Not all the ruins are simply narrow tunnels and empty rooms. They can open up into large caverns filled with alien machinery, And there are rumors of reactor-like chambers deep beneath the surface. Okay, so we got a lot going on here. We've got these ruins that are very sensitive to psi and alien tech. So it sounds like the ruins may have been built by aliens. I haven't played enough routes yet to get into that lore or that side of things, so I don't know a whole lot about that. But it's interesting that the ruins respond to psi, and I guess become hostile when someone uses their psi. And confusing. I don't know. I'm very confused right now, okay? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think I'm going to end it here. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot left, honestly, as far as our reach out. I don't think. But I am, like, overwhelmed right now with, trying to figure all this out. Because and part of it's my fault, because, like I said, the last time I really played the first half of Ours Route was, like, 4 months ago. So, some things I have, sort of a clear recollection of, and others not as much. But I'm trying to keep up with all the lore and all the names and all the factions and who's on whose side. And I am getting a little bit overwhelmed. So, yeah. So, yeah, we're going to power on in these next couple episodes. And hopefully I'll get some more answers and some more clarity. If I misunderstood anything, just drop a note in the comments. Because, like I said, I'm trying my best to keep up. But, I do think that the time gap between when I played the first half of this, or the first part of this route, and now is probably causing some issues for me. Anyway, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.